Thank you so much for joining us, Christina. We're really excited to hear some of your thoughts and some of your experience, because I know you are really experienced in the ABA space. One of our first questions is the quote, actually, it's very present on your LinkedIn, is building for the 51%. What inspired that mission, and how does that shape the work that you do at UPSCO?
Sure. So I will date myself a little bit. I will be certified for 18 years this August. When I graduated, there was 3,500 BCBAs and, certified everywhere. And so now that I probably past the 77,000 mark right now, that's a lot. So I know we are at the 51%, have been certified 5 years or less. And that's just really new in the field, any field, not just in behavior analysis. So it by no means is me throwing shade on the newly certified folks. It's just trying to put a spotlight on the fact that they do need more support. And the pool of mentors is really small because there's not that many who have been certified for 10, 15, 20 years to kind of spread out amongst all of those who may need some additional support and mentorship.
That makes complete sense. That makes complete sense. Well, and I think I was just talking with another guest recently about how important experience is in being a BCBA, or really any role when you're working with people. Sometimes just more experience is needed, right? No matter what. And if you can offer tools that help speed that process to generate good work, that makes complete sense. So you often talk about trial counts. Why is that metric so critical in ABA therapy, do you think?
Sure. So I think I should probably also specify something that got lost when I made that post originally, that I don't mean just the data points that we're putting in your central reach or high Erasmus motivity. It's also just learning opportunities. So we're also incorporating, other things, maintenance trials, generalization trials that maybe we're not capturing in our data collection software. I'd argue that we should, but even if we're not, how often are we engaged with our learner? And I'm seeing those trial counts be fewer and fewer as I talk to more and more folks. And we have to think about it when we're working with young kiddos. If you guys are familiar with the VB map assessment that Mark Sundberg developed, in there is a transition assessment. So trying to figure out, when is your kiddo ready to kind of transfer out of your care, or at least titrate down? And so if we look at those, we look at how many trials do we need to learn a brand new concept. And if it's very little, then we should be moving into our general education classroom, maybe with some supports. And so I can't wrap my head around the idea that either we don't need a whole lot of trials, but we still need intensive care. So that's a mismatch for me. So if we're a young learner who is picking up new skills in 8 or 10 trial presentations, then why are we doing 40 hours a week of service? That doesn't match up for me. So that's where I'm really focused on that. I do see there's really long intertrial intervals where kids are not being engaged with, not getting enough practice at a skill. I can't ask you to learn how to tie your shoes when I'm only giving you an opportunity to learn that one time a week. That's gonna be hard for anybody, nevertheless, someone with a disability. So that's why I have a big focus on that, to make sure we are making really rapid progress, or we're not going to be able to catch our clients up with their peers. And that's our goal.
That makes complete sense. Thank you. So tell me about what role mentorship plays in kind of shaping effective behavioral analysis, in your opinion, and what inspired you to offer some of I think you do kind of free mentorship program, actually.
Yeah, I think mentorship's important no matter how long you've been in the field. I have, very lucky that I have friends and colleagues that I can, be my second brain, as I call it. Hey, take a look at this. Like, what am I missing? What else would you do? And I feel like we're losing that in our field, that either it's not available to us, it's too costly, or we don't know who to go and look at. When I was in graduate school, I was really privileged to have a whole cohort of, 12 other grad students to go ask. And if not, I could ask a second year or a doc student or a professor. And then post-graduation, keep in touch with all those folks. If I do need help, supports, network opportunities, I have people to lean on. And I think now when 75% of folks are taking coursework online, they're not having that built-in network support system. The reason I did it for free is because I know that first starting out BCBAs, it's really expensive to pay for that kind of stuff privately, but I don't want people to not get the support they need because cost is a barrier. And so that's why I raffled off some free mentorship.
That makes perfect sense. That's awesome. So tell me how you go about balancing your clinical rigor with practical support, all while not overwhelming practitioners, because I think that's an issue, and almost all consultants or trainers or anything is overwhelming the people you're trying to actually help.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's kind of the brilliance behind clinical decision support systems is that it's giving you an informed guide to making informed decisions as opposed to telling someone, hey, this isn't going well, go fix that. Anyone can identify there's a problem, but the decision models then help you build the solution. So here's a link to the literature. Here's a link to the summary of the article. Here's a link to a job aid you can download, a checklist. Here's videos to go watch how you should implement different various things like a preference assessment. So you're getting kind of that guided mentorship experience without having to have someone available, too, in your organization that you can sit down with. Because even if your organization has that, there's going to be a limit of how many folks they can talk to, how much time they can spend. I know none of it's billable. That becomes problematic too. I get it. So instead of you doing a lit search for 2 or 3 hours coming up empty, that's non-billable, come into my system, you're going to access those resources in 3 minutes. And it's already curated. You're not digging through, hopefully I have access to, or this article is not even good and I spent, 15 minutes reading something that I don't need. It's really trying to help folks make better informed decisions efficiently and also leading to better than outcomes because they're getting more resources than maybe they already had access to, have them not use it.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. That makes complete sense. And allowing them to do all of that efficiently so that they feel like they can do it over and over again as well. I mean, that makes complete sense. So I think we'll make this our last question because it's one of my favorites. What's one myth or outdated idea in the ABA space that you wish people would just move on from, let go of, get over?
I think, especially for those who are in our space, who are not behavior analysts themselves, really understanding that just because you have those 4 initials after your name, that you somehow have the same exact experience as someone else has those initials. It's not the same. If I went to school and I did practicum primarily with kids under 6, I'm going to have a really big struggle going to try and do appropriate care for adolescents and vice versa, right? If you did a whole bunch of your time in group homes and you're going to go in an early childhood center, that's going to be really difficult. So I would like folks to really understand that our experience from our coursework and our practicum placements really is going to dictate our skill set. And we can't just plug and play one BCBA anywhere and take some BCBA from somewhere else and put them in the same position. They're going to perform very differently.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. People are not the same, no matter if they have the same technical certifications.
Yes.
Yeah, which I completely agree with. And I think I see a lot of that happen, especially in the large ABA groups where they're just like, we need 3. I mean, I've had clients before that say exactly this. I need 3 BCBAs and I need 2 RBTs and I need 1 of these and I need 1 of those. And to them, they're all the same. And so it doesn't really matter because they're not actually practitioners themselves. And you can see the disconnect that happens when that kind of approach is followed.
And both people suffer. The BCBA put in that position suffers, then the client suffers because they're not getting the care by someone who really has a good handle on, the scope that they need. And that's why we see huge burnout. When you are put in a position where you're don't have the relevant background and skill set, you're going to have a really difficult time, and understandably so. It's not shade on, again, that BCBA. You've just been put in a place that's not the best fit for you. And I wish that we would do a better job of matching clinicians to the clients they're going to work with across more variables than just, I have an opening in my schedule at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think too, it shows the RBT or the BCBA that you actually care about who they are as a person and their experience and their expertise. And it also shows painfully when you clearly don't care and you clearly don't know the difference. And I think that also contributes to that burnout, right? Because feeling appreciated and understood by your employers and by your bosses and teammates is a big part of preventing burnout.
Absolutely. Or find that mentorship. So there may not be 100%, correlation and correspondence between these are my skills and here's what my client needs. Maybe there's a couple pieces where I need some support. That's okay. Get them that supervisor, get them that mentor that can say, hey, I realize you've never done X before. I'm going to be there, coach you through it. Now you're competent. So the next time you have a client with the same issue, you're not going to need so much support from someone else, right? So now you're also investing time in your BCBA so that they are more competent to deal with a wider variety of clients. That serves everybody better in that whole ecosystem. But we have to invest that time, not just you have a certification and a pulse, go do it.
Makes complete sense. That makes complete sense. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kristen. We really appreciate having you on, and I appreciate some of your insights. It's clear you know your stuff, and we appreciate it.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. Appreciate the opportunity.